Hey guys, welcome back to the video. For today's video, we are going to be looking at the perfect upgradable PC. In one of the previous videos, we had a look at a PC without a GPU, and for today's video, we're going to be doing the same. The last PC had a Ryzen 3 3400GE, and for today's build, we are looking at the Ryzen 5 4650G. I managed to pick up the components on Facebook Marketplace, so I didn't think I'd be able to pick up another one of these, but strangely enough, here we go. So for the last build that we did, it's worked out to be under 6,000 Rand gaming PC. For this one, we have pushed up the RAM, so now we're running 32 gigs of RAM, and obviously with the upgrade in CPU, for a build like this with the current specs, 750 power supply, and a system fully capable of being upgraded, adding in a GPU at a later stage, we're looking at about 7,500 for the build. So this type of build, perfectly upgradable. It's obviously got SSD storage, it's got hard drive storage. I will be looking at testing it with a GPU. So basically it runs like a 3600, so we'll put a GPU into it and do some benchmarks like that. But basically 7,500 Rand, you got yourself a PC and you're fully capable of upgrading from there. Stay tuned for the upcoming videos where I do a deep dive into the system and how you upgrade it, and basically what you can do with the components that are in the computer, and what's the best way to upgrade a PC like this. Alright, without further ado, let's have a look at the components. Okay, so for the components, for the CPU, we're looking at a Ryzen 5 Pro 4650G. In comparison, the Ryzen 5 4650G is basically an upgrade to the 3600. So it's the third generation Renoir Zen 2, and in comparison to the 3600, you're looking at 6 cores, 12 threads. It's got a higher frequency of 3.7 instead of the 3.6. It's got a single core boost of 4.3 gigahertz compared to the 4.2 on the 3600. All core boost is 4.15 gigahertz, so a stronger CPU than the 3600. For the internal graphics, obviously the 3600 doesn't have internal graphics, whereas this has got 1.9 gigahertz. It's a 9th gen GPU, 7nm, maximum capable of running 3 displays, 7 execution units with 448 shader cores, and capable of running DirectX version 12. And because it's a iGPU, it's able to do encoding. So if you were looking to, say, for instance, stream, you can actually use the integrated graphics for your encoding. For the motherboard, I managed to get a Gigabyte A520M S2H, which is a mini ATX motherboard. For the memory, 32 gigs of DDR4, so 2x16 gig of DDR4 running at 2400 megahertz. For storage, a 240 gig M.2 nvme drive SSD and a 2 terabyte hard drive for game storage. And for the case, I managed to pick up a Corsair Carbide series 400C. So a lot of people don't actually know is that with the APUs, so this type of CPU, you're actually able to go into the BIOS and increase the dedicated memory for the iGPU. So just to give you an example here, I set the graphics to 8 gig. And yeah, let's have a look at the build. Keep an eye out for the next video where we put a GPU into the system and see how it operates with a 1050 Ti. Thanks for watching the video, and let's have a look at the build and run through some benchmarks.